The humans did not realize the garden was watching. It had lain dormant for eons, buried beneath Mars's rusted skin, until the first drill bit punctured its carapace. The colony's engineers thought they'd struck ice. Instead, they awoke a symphony. By dawn, the air tasted different, sweet, like rotting fruit. Solar arrays bloomed with bioluminescent moss, their efficiency doubling, then tripling. The dying terraformers shuddered back to life, spewing oxygen so pure it made eyes water. Hope, that fickle parasite, infected the colony. Then the changes began. A botanist's fingertips sprouted chlorophyll veins. A child's laughter echoed with the chitter of insects. The garden offered no explanation, only integration. Those who resisted choked on the new air. Those who surrendered became something other. In the command center, a strategist calculated survival odds. In the labs, a rogue biologist dissected the garden's gifts, her veins humming with stolen code. Neither knew the artifact's purpose: to test, to consume, to rewrite worlds in its image. Mars had been a grave, now it was a womb. The garden did not discriminate between savior and conqueror. It only asked adapt or die, but adaptation, like Eden, came with teeth. Chapter 1: The air tasted of ozone and regret. Zade Rook stared at the hologram of the colony's failing terraformers, red glyphs flickering like dying stars. His finger hovered over the purge sequence, the one that would vent the western sector's atmosphere and buy them a week, maybe two. 27 civilians still in there. The numbers blurred. He'd made the calculation before. On Titan, when a hospital wing became a tomb. Collateral. Necessary. The words had rotted his tongue ever since. A chime. The door hissed open. Rook. You're not authorized to. Spare me. He didn't look up. Sera Veyth's presence was a static charge, all sharp edges and impatience. She'd painted her exosuit's joints with bioluminescent algae, a petty rebellion against the colony's gray monotony. You're considering the purge. It wasn't a question. Her boots clanged against the grated floor, stopping just shy of his shoulder. Those people are already dead. The storm's eating the solar arrays. Without power, the domes collapse. You know this. He finally met her gaze. Her pupils were dilated, black holes ringed with gold, a side effect of whatever the hell she'd injected herself with last. You want me to let them suffocate. I want you to stop pretending this is a choice. She tossed a data chip onto the console, the Helix Garden. It's active. The chip's contents bloomed, a spiral structure deep beneath the regolith, its architecture alien and organic, veins pulsing with cobalt light. Zade's jaw tightened. Bullshit. That thing's been buried for millennia. Exactly. And now it's waking up. Atmospheric oxygen's rising. Temperatures stabilizing. She leaned in, breath hot against his ear. It's terraforming Mars, Rook. Faster than your little machines ever could. He turned, hand reflexively gripping the purge trigger. You think this is a fairy tale? That thing's rewriting DNA. People are changing. Adapting. Her smile was a blade. Surviving. Isn't that what you're always preaching? The comms crackled. Commander Sector 8 reports another hybridization. It's Jesus. It's one of the hydroponics teams. Zade's finger twitched. Sera's smirk died. For half a second, she looked almost human. The storm howled outside the biodome's ribs. Zade moved through the tunnels, his helmet light carving shadows from the dust-choked air. Sera's voice echoed in his earpiece, a sarcastic litany of hurry the fuck up, as she hacked the security doors ahead. He hated that she'd volunteered, hated more that he'd agreed. Hybridization. The word looped in his head. The reports were fragmented. A farmer with chlorophyll veins, a child sprouting feathers, a mechanic fused with his rover, half machine, half something else. The garden didn't just alter biology. It reimagined it. Sera paused at a junction, her suit's algae glowing like witchlight. Left. Trust me. He didn't. He followed anyway. The tunnels reeked of burnt plastic and panic. Emergency lights pulsed, painting the walls in blood. Sera knelt by a maintenance hatch, her fingers dancing over the lock. You ever wonder why the garden waited so long? Why now? Not really. Liar. The hatch screeched open. It's been listening, learning, waiting for us to get desperate enough to crawl into its mouth. Philosophy later. Move. She laughed, but it was thin, strained. Zade's HUD flagged her biometrics. Heart rate elevated, core temp dropping, toxins, or something else. The hatch led to a cavern. The Helix Garden dominated it. A double helix of living stone and light, roots plunging into Mars's crust like neural filaments. It pulsed. Beautiful. The thought shamed him. Sera stepped forward, gloved hand outstretched. It's not a weapon. The ground buckled. A scream echoed. A human voice. Then something wrong. A chittering roar. The hybrid emerged from the shadows. A colonist. Or what remained. Its torso split into arachnid segments. Scorpion tail arcing with venomous light. Zade fired. The creature dodged, mandibles snapping where Sera had stood. She cursed, scrambling back, and the thing lunged again. Not human. Not human. Not human. He emptied his clip into its thorax. It crumpled, fluids pooling neon blue. Sera was already at the corpse, scanner in hand. DNA's fused with Christ, with the rover's AI. How is that? Fall back. The cavern trembled. The garden's pulse quickened, roots surging toward the hybrid's body. They ran. The sandstorm swallowed them whole. Zade's suit warned of hull breaches, of failing filters, of Sera's oxygen dipping into the red. They'd lost the comms hours ago. The colony's lights were gone, buried under kilometers of dust. She stumbled beside him, limping. He'd seen the gash in her thigh when she'd vaulted a crevasse, a jagged piece of the garden's architecture, maybe. Or the hybrid's claw. Rook. Her voice was a rasp. We're not going to make it. He didn't answer. His mind cycled through contingency plans, each more futile than the last. The purge would have bought time. The garden offered a future, but not for them, not for humans. Sera stopped, gripping his arm. Look. A fissure in the storm. A cluster of structures, their domes half collapsed but intact. The old science wing, abandoned since the first terraformer failed. They hauled themselves inside. The airlock cycled, and suddenly silence. Zade's helmet retracted. The smell hit him first, mildew, rust, and something sweet, cloying. Sera ripped off her helmet, gasping. Her hair clung to her face, sweat streaked. This place. They tried to grow earth crops here. Failed. The soil was too acidic. She gestured to the walls, where faint green streaks glimmered. But something took root. Zade holstered his weapon. We wait out the storm, then we go back. She laughed, bitter. You still think the colony's there, that we're still there. He turned away. The walls seemed to breathe. The old lab was a tomb of failed experiments. Sera lit the emergency lamps, her movements feverish. They were so close, she muttered, sifting through decayed datapads. Hydroponics, gene splicing. They just didn't go far enough. Zade leaned against the doorframe, watching. She'd stripped off her exosuit, revealing a tank top stained with blood. Hers. The hybrid's. He couldn't tell. Her left arm bore a fresh wound, the skin around it mottled purple. You're infected. Observant. She didn't look up. The hybrid's claw. Lucky me. Why didn't you say anything? Would you have left me behind? He didn't answer. She found a syringe, filled it with a luminescent serum. Antidote. Temporary. Needs a catalyst. Meaning I need your blood. The request hung between them. Zade's hand went to his sidearm. You're using me as a lab rat. You're using me as a scapegoat. Tit for tat. She tossed him a medkit. Universal donor. O negative. Convenient. He hesitated. The storm raged outside. The garden's pulse echoed in his bones. Fine. The needle bit deep. Sera's hands were steady, but her breath hitched. He wondered if it was the infection, or the proximity. "Why do you care?" he asked. "About the garden." She bandaged the wound, her touch impersonal. "You ever watch a world die, Rook? Titan's oceans froze. Earth's burning. Mars is just dust. The garden could fix it, could fix us, at the cost of everything we are." "Yeah." She met his gaze, gold-flecked eyes defiant. "You've got a better plan." He didn't. It came at dawn. The lab's windows shattered. The creature was all teeth and tendrils, a fusion of lab equipment and flesh. Sera shoved Zade behind a desk, syringes flying from her hands. "Stay down." He ignored her. The thing's bulk blocked the exit. Sera charged, a scalpel in one hand, a fire extinguisher in the other. Zade's training kicked in, flanking, suppressing fire, the rhythm of combat. But this wasn't a war. It was a surgery. The creature screamed, a sound like shattering glass. Sera drove the scalpel into its carapace, and it shuddered, collapsing into a pool of viscera and circuitry. Zade stared at the remains. What the hell was that? Adaptive defense mechanism. She was breathing hard, her infected arm trembling. "The garden, it's protecting itself. By killing you? By testing us." He stepped closer. Her pupils were blown wide, the infection spreading. "How long? Before I turn into one of your precious collateral?" "Hours. Maybe." She smirked, but it was fragile. "Better make them count." The storm's wail softened. Somewhere beneath the dust, the garden pulsed, adapting. Zade holstered his weapon. "We head for the core. Now." Sera didn't argue. Chapter 2. The old science wing's walls hummed, a low-frequency thrum that seeped into Zade's bones. Sera had fallen silent, her breath shallow as she slumped against a corroded workstation. The serum had slowed the infection. Her arm was still hers, for now, but her skin gleamed with a feverish sheen, and the air reeked of burnt sugar. He crouched beside her, scanning the lab's debris. A dead screen flickered static. Oxygen at 12%. Temperature dropping. The storm outside had ebbed, leaving a brittle calm. Mars felt like a held breath. Sera's eyes snapped open. "Stop staring. Your pulse is erratic. Your concern is noted." She pushed upright, wincing. "We need to move. The core's northeast. Half a click through the maintenance tunnels." He cut her off, already mapping the route. The labs were honeycombed, with shafts, relics of the first colonists' desperation. Narrow, unstable, perfect for ambush. She smirked. "Lead the way, Commander." The tunnels were a labyrinth of shadows and half-formed threats. Zade's helmet light caught glimpses of the garden's reach, veins of cobalt light, snaking through the walls, patches of regolith blooming with iridescent moss. The air thickened, cloying, as if the garden itself resisted their passage. Sera lagged, her steps unsteady. He slowed, torn. Every second risked the infection claiming her, or the garden's defenses finding them. Hybridization isn't death, he told himself. It's worse. A grate clanged ahead. Voices, human. Saw it with my own eyes. The garden healed her. No more respirator. No more pain. She's better. Zade froze. Sera mouthed cultist, and flattened herself against the wall. A trio of colonists shuffled past, their suits fused with organic filaments, roots coiling around limbs, eyes filmed with translucent membranes. They didn't glance down the tunnel. "Herrera's setting up a perimeter," one muttered. "No one leaves. Not until they've accepted." Sera's hand brushed Zade's wrist. "Wait," her touch said. "Let them pass." He waited. The maintenance shaft was a vertical chute, rusted rungs bolted into rock. Sera went first, her infected arm trembling, as she climbed. Zade followed, the weight of her above him a silent taunt. "If she falls, I catch her. If she turns, I shoot." Halfway up, her foot slipped. He caught her ankle, the jolt sending a spike of pain through his shoulder. Her breath hissed between clenched teeth. Don't. What? Enjoy this. He almost laughed. The sound died as a low groan echoed through the shaft. The walls shuddered. A tendril of the garden's architecture punched through the rock, centimeters from Sera's head. Move. They scrambled upward, the garden's pulses sinking with their panic. The shaft spat them into a cavern bathed in bioluminescence. The core loomed, a pulsing sphere of alien matter, its surface etched with glyphs that shifted like living code. Sera staggered toward it. It's singing. Zade's comms crackled. A voice distorted. Rook. This is Veyth. The colony's gone dark. If you're alive, respond. He ignored it. Sera's fingers brushed the core. Light erupted. The visions hit like a neural spike. Zade saw the garden's creators, spindly, four-armed beings, with eyes like collapsing stars. They'd seeded worlds, their gardens devouring ecosystems, replacing them with hybrid hives. Each experiment failed. Each world died screaming. The garden wasn't salvation. It was a virus. Sera gasped, clutching her temples. Lies. It's showing you lies. Then why are you bleeding? Her nose dripped crimson. The infection had spread. Her left hand sprouted bark-like scales. Because I'm right. It's learning. Adapting. We could. A roar cut her off. The cavern's entrance collapsed. A hybrid stood in the rubble. A colonist fused with a maintenance drone. Its torso a tangle of wires and teeth. Zade fired. The thing shrugged off the rounds, charging. Sera hurled a chunk of rock, striking its carapace. It whirled, mandibles snapping at her throat. Zade tackled it, driving his knife into the joint where flesh met machine. Fluid sprayed. The hybrid shuddered, then went limp. Sera stared at the corpse. It was one of yours. Militia. He didn't answer. The core's pulse quickened, the glyphs flaring. The lab's emergency stash yielded 3 syringes of antitoxin. Sera injected herself, her hands shaking. Not enough. Need more. We don't have more. Then improvise. She dragged him to a storage locker, its contents half consumed by the garden's flora. Hydroponics. They tried to grow earth crops. Failed. But the soil, it's saturated with failed spores. Zade understood. You want to weaponize their rot. I want to burn this place. Reset the garden's code. He hesitated. You'll die. Eventually. But not today. The spore bombs were crude, canisters packed with fermented soil, and jury-rigged detonators. Sera worked feverishly, her movements growing jerky as the infection surged. Zade watched, his mind a loop of duty. Love. Why Titan? He asked suddenly. She stiffened. What? You mentioned Titan. What happened? A beat. Then I accelerated the terraforming. Overrode the safeties. The methane lakes, they flash froze. Killed the research team. Survivors? None. He nodded. And the guilt? Keeps me sharp. She sealed the last bomb. Your turn. What happened in that hospital? The question hung. Zade's throat tightened. I chose the mission over civilians. Bombed a rebel-held wing. Children died. Sera studied him. Gold-flecked eyes unreadable. And you think this absolves you, dragging me into the dirt? No. I think you're the first person who doesn't flinch when I admit it. The core's chamber had changed. The walls oozed amber resin, the air thick with pollen. Sera's breaths came in ragged gasps, her skin mottled with bark. Zade set the bombs. How long? Minutes. Maybe seconds. She leaned against the core, her palm pressed to its surface. It's scared, Rook. It knows what we are. What we'll do. Then let's disappoint it. She laughed, wet and broken. Always the soldier. The core pulsed. Visions flashed again, this time of Earth. Oceans boiling. Forests crumbling. The garden's final experiment. Your move, Commander. Sera whispered. Zade hesitated. Then he holstered his weapon and took her hand. Together. The bombs armed. Chapter 3. The core's pulse synchronized with Zade's heartbeat. Sera stood at the edge of the alien sphere, her body a mosaic of human and hybrid, bark scaling her left arm, veins glowing cobalt. The garden's song thrummed in the air, a dissonant lullaby. "This is it," she said, voice frayed. "The code's recursive. Destroy the core, and the garden unravels. Mars dies. Let it live, and we become something else." Zade adjusted the bomb's timer. 2 minutes. "You still believe it's salvation?" "I believe in adaptation. Survival." She turned, eyes twin supernovas. "You think your duty makes you noble? You're just afraid to let go." The words stung. He thought of Titan, of the hospital wing collapsing. Collateral. How many times had he hidden behind that word? A tremor shook the chamber. The walls bled amber, the garden's architecture twisting into defensive spires. Sera's breath hitched. Her right hand, still human, pressed to her chest. "It's fighting back. Then we fight harder." The bombs were set. The core's light dimmed, as if sensing its fate. Sera lingered, fingertips brushing the alien surface. "It's afraid," she whispered. "Not of death, of irrelevance." Zade holstered his weapon. "Let's go." She didn't move. "Sera, they'll die, Rook. The colonists who merged with it. The garden's their life support. If we kill it, they die too. We're already dead." "Are we?" She faced him, infection crawling up her neck. "You feel that? The garden's in your blood. My blood. We're carriers. It wants us to spread it." He froze. "The serum. The transfusion. Shit. Don't look so horrified." Her laugh was a death rattle. "You want redemption? This is it. Burn the garden. Let it end here." The tunnel's back were a gauntlet. Hybrids swarmed, a cacophony of claws and code. Zade fired blindly, Sera's labored breaths echoing in his earpiece. 1 minute. A chasm yawned ahead. The bridge collapsed. Sera vaulted first, her hybrid arm anchoring them. The garden's veins writhed beneath the gap. "Hungry. Faster," she growled. They ran. The core's pulse quickened, a countdown in his skull. The surface greeted them with a blood-red sky. The colony's dome stood skeletal, overrun by the garden's flora. Survivors milled like ghosts, their bodies mid-transformation. A child with moth wings stared at Zade, eyes black and depthless. Sera collapsed against a rover. "Go. I'll hold them off. Like hell. Your duty's to the living, not me." He gripped her shoulder. "Duty's just another word for regret." The bombs beeped. 30 seconds. Sera shoved him toward the airlock. "Live, Rook. For both of us." The core detonated. The shockwave threw him into the rover. Heat seared his back. When he opened his eyes, the garden was gone. Mars a wasteland again. Red dust choking the air. Sera lay motionless, her hybrid features receding. Human. He knelt beside her. Her pulse flickered. "Stubborn," she whispered. "Always stubborn. Stay with me." "Can't. The garden's in me." Still, her hand clutched his. "Promise me. No purge. No more collateral. I promise." Her breath slowed. The gold faded from her eyes. The comms crackled. "Rook. Respond. The garden's down. Repeat. The garden's down." He ignored it. Sera's body cooled. He injected her blood into a sterile vial, then buried her in the rover's wreckage. The storm would cover her. Days passed. Or hours. Zade recorded his final log. "Duty kept me alive. She made me worth saving." He planted the vial in a cracked dome, where the garden's last spores lingered. A flower bloomed. Blue petals. Veins like circuitry. Hybrid. Alive.